Hello world, my name is Peter, and I have something to say. Humanity has passed the point of technological development. We now have something that connects us globally, but we still live our lives as we lived before we got connected. Through the internet, we can see what's going on in every part of the world, sometimes even as it happens. Information like this opens up our ability to learn from each other. We learn faster, and we can grow from local national values into a more global collective community. However, the free flow of information is also a threat to power. It is a threat to the power of those who has been restricting information to maintain power over their people. Having access to information from all corners of the world is also a potential threat to the ideas and culture belonging to one nation. Ideas and culture inspire us, and it creates fantastic memories in people. Memories of how things once were, memories of how things should be, and memories of how things used to be before we reached globalization through technology. Challenging these values and ideas can feel threatening. Having them changed or altered may feel painful, especially to those who really cherish them. If the internet as we know it today was given to us in its current form in, let's say, 1992, a lot of people would be hesitant to use it, and quite a few would prefer to continue on with their life with local ideas, culture, and local information, instead of identifying with a more collective perspective. If there never was an internet, we would never be in a situation where we know what's going on in every part of the world. We would barely even know what's going on in the next town, let alone on the other side of our country. So for a lot of people today, we mind our own business, because that's the way we used to live before we got connected. The young generation of today is different than any other generation. They grew up with a more globalized mindset than the generation who is currently controlling our governance systems. They grew up with being connected globally, and to them it is pointless to fight for local, national point of views. We have two halves now. Two halves where one half identifies to the global, while the other half identifies to more local, national values. And now we need to stop and ask ourselves, where are we headed? There is currently a war going on in Europe, a war fueled by one man's nostalgic memories of Russia's glory days, and this war threatens our entire existence. Think about it. The memories of one human being threatens the entire human race. Memories about what once was threatens life. It sounds extreme, but it is nothing new because memories are a powerful fuel. Imagine somebody who loses a limb or breaks their back and becomes paraplegic. Their memories of a life with free movement will fuel their fight to get back to where they once were. Fighting while looking backwards for guidance. This is like driving a car with your head turned the wrong direction. Eventually you will crash. The Danish philosopher Kierkegaard said it best. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. The universe constantly moves forward. And so do we. We can never go backwards. We can only move forward. However, as opposed to the universe, human beings are fueled by an ego that protects our truth. This truth tells us how things are supposed to be. It tells us what is right, and it tells us what is wrong. And it is both a powerful motivator and enabler for us to build societies and governance systems. This same ego keeps us hostage to our memories when the external world changes. Some people reminisce about their old office desk when they switch jobs. Some people even have memories of the past so painful that it pacifies them from living. And to an extent, we need this truth protection. But at the same time, our ego hinders us to freely progress with an open mind about the future. We somewhat unconsciously try to live tomorrow as we live today, because this feels safer than the unknown of tomorrow. On a societal level, our ego becomes a little more complex. Let's call it a collective ego, where a collective ego protects the truth being held by a large enough group of people in a society. And currently, some of the people controlling governments and enforce national power are protecting a truth that is different from the truth held by the people of their country. In Iran, for example, there is a horrible regime fueled by convictions on how women should act, how women should behave, and what they should wear. Convictions that inherently try to maintain power by hindering progress and growth. This is impossible. This causes distress and it causes unrest. And the longer one tries to reignite the past, the stronger the symptoms of distress will be. Memories of a bygone era is like an infection. It starts out slowly and it ends up killing you unless it's treated. Governing while guided by memories of the past is very dangerous, and if the ones with power do not stop and reflect upon what's really going on, we may very well find ourselves in a reality only portrayed in dystopic scenarios. In between political bureaucracy and social media videos of cute animals, we are facing a scenario of nuclear war. Just because as somebody may choose to end their own life when their individual pain becomes too heavy to bear, Russia's leader, Putin, may feel it is better to end it all than to witness Russia progressing into something that differs from his glorified memories of the past. So now, people of the world, we have a choice. We can continue to drown ourselves in social media reels with the occasional glimpse of something important, or we can use this technology and begin help those in power transition their mindset from national to a more collective global point of view. I don't know about you, but maybe you agree on on wanting the world to become a more inclusive and warmer place. One way to bring on inclusion and warmth is to speak more openly about painful matters. When we speak up, we should suggest solutions and ideas on how to live together in a more global and connected world. Because right now we are living connected in a local, national manner, and the gaps between what works in one country versus what works in another are simply too large for this type of living to continue much longer. And to the people living in oppressed regimes, I say, keep fighting, and keep fighting with words, dialogue, and present solutions to your leaders. You will face resistance, and you will face violence. Violence is the weak man's response to situations where the ego feels threatened. To the leaders of oppression, I say, you are welcome to give up the reins. The ideas you are fighting to keep are neither shared by your people, nor are they shared by the world. If you want to go down in history as weak, small-minded men who were too stubborn to give up your candy, you should continue as you are. However, if you would rather have a legacy where you helped humanity into the new phase we are entering, you begin to invite people to build a new regime that is better suited for the time we currently live in. And to the rest of the world, I say, you must activate yourself more. A consequence of living in a global collective world is that you must care. Even though it may sound like a cheesy greeting card, you must be the example you want to see in the world. And this is difficult. And in some places, it is even dangerous. This only makes activations more important, especially if you live in a place that protects free speech. It is not good enough to post a random support message in between your 10 highlight of the day posts. Your job as a member of a global society is to actively contribute to the sustainable growth of the era you currently exist in. So what can you do? You can begin to express what kind of world you would like to live in. I'll go first. My world is a world where people love other people. A world where we do not have to specify what type of people. People love people. My world is a world where people can wear clothes. A world where we do not have to specify what type of clothing to what type of people. People wear clothes. Imagine that. Aside from wars fueled by memories, who we love, how we express love, how we look like and what type of clothing we are wearing, or supposed to wear or not supposed to wear, these are our main sources of conflict. Just as the universe expands every day, so are we. And the only thing I hope you do is to keep driving forward with your head turned towards the direction you are headed. If we look back for too long, we will crash. This is what I had to say. Thank you.